2018 I was visiting a place not too far from Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk, and so I decided to take some time out to make the trip to the site of what is the most famous UFO case in the UK. It was my first visit to Rendlesham and I made the trip alone, so I was able to form my own impressions in my own time. Prior to visiting, I had found that the Forestry Commission had a web page showing that they had set up a UFO trail, and a leaflet was available with a map and a short account of what happened at several stops along the way. This map was, I think, produced in 2006 and shows 5 main points of interest. The leaflet does not name any of the witnesses and does not give that many details about the events themselves, at least not as many details as it could, perhaps. At the end of the leaflet it says, "You have now walked the trail, you have read the story and considered the events of those dark winter nights of 1980. Did you see anything mysterious, and what do you believe?" The leaflet also has a disclaimer which reads as follows: "The content of and views expressed in this leaflet are in no way an expression of the beliefs or understanding of the Forestry Commission. By nature of such stories, the information contained herein is uncertain. The Forestry Commission accepts no responsibility for the accuracy or truth of details provided. The suggested further reading above has not been researched by us and is provided only as a starting point for those interested in finding out more. All illustrations are hypothetical and are in no way representative of the actual events." The leaflet also references further reading, which includes, inevitably I suppose, the book by David Clarke and Andy Roberts and the Jenny Randall's book Sky Crash, but fortunately it also includes a reference to Georgina Bruni's book. When you get to the forest there are several car parks and some of them are free to park in. Near the start of the trail there is a large car park and an information centre in a small hut. Here you can collect free copies of the UFO Trail leaflet, along with several other leaflets about cycle trails and other activities that can be undertaken in the forest. You can even camp in the forest if you want to. So here I am in Rendlesham Forest for the first time, and it is quite a strange atmosphere to it. It's a beautiful sunny day, and I just thought I'd come here because I've had to visit this area of the country. One thing I noticed was the echoing in here. If I shout over there, "Hello!" there's you maybe heard this sort of strange echo from all the trees, which isn't damped down by the foliage that much, so that's kind of strange. So the basic facts of the Rendlesham case are these. On 2 or 3 nights in late December 1980, objects were sighted landing in Rendlesham Forest to the east of Woodbridge RAF base, which was leased by the USAF at the time. On at least 2 nights, officers left the Woodbridge base to investigate unidentified objects that had landed in the forest. So this is the world famous East Gate. I'm sure there are about 60 YouTube videos of it, but as I say, it's the first time I've visited. And this is the first point on the so-called UFO Trail, and if you look through this now you can see obviously it's sort of quite overgrown. There's some type of guard hut there. I'm sure many people have written this up, etc, etc in the past, but I just thought a few people might be interested in seeing this. While on patrol in the forest, different phenomena were reported by witnesses involved. Witnesses such as Colonel Charles Holt, Sergeant Jim Penniston, John Burroughs and Edward Cabanzag, as well as Adrian Bustinza and others, all reported unusual sightings of one kind or another. Also, several British police officers were involved in on-site investigations around that time. Sergeant Jim Penniston reported that he approached a roughly triangular-shaped object which had landed, and he drew sketches of it and took notes. These are featured in the signs on the trail. So this is coming up to the highlight of the trail, or the walk, and as you can probably see there, they've put a sort of sculpture or model or whatever you want to call it in the place where the object was sighted on the ground. So, you know, I'm just sort of trying to give an impression of what they might have seen with this there now. And this was put in there in 2014.
None of the officers could properly explain what they saw.
So I have to say that really it was this incident which I suppose kicked me off on the journey of discovery, because I'd seen a documentary programme about the Rendlesham Forest incident on the BBC in 2003, and that's what led me to go and research it on the internet. And as I've said on interviews and things, that's how I found the Disclosure Project and all that followed on from that. So this is, you know, quite an interesting place to be for me, really, to see this. Let's say, which has been here for about 4 years now, and it looks like it has been sort of inevitably abused and graffitied on and things, but thankfully it's still here for people like me to look at.
The occurrence of the incident was only revealed to the public in a News of the World report on the 2nd of October 1983. The cover-up of the incident was needed, I would say, partly due to the fact that nuclear missiles had been covertly stored at the Woodbridge base without the knowledge of the British government. Many books and videos have been made about the Rendlesham case. I think the best book on the case was published in 2000, and it's called You Can't Tell the People, and it was written by the late Georgina Bruni. Also, a comprehensive video called UFO Invasion Rendlesham was produced by the Sci-Fi Channel in 2003.
And we can see that they've even added these symbols. Now, not being a total expert on the details of the case, I don't know if these symbols are, you know, accurate to what was reported by Penistone. I assume they have based them on that because they've gone to the trouble of making this interesting looking replica.
It appears that the sculpture is a fairly direct interpretation of Penistone's sketch because it is not symmetric. It has a sort of organic look to it. It's not a totally symmetric object. Since approximately 2010, which was the 30th anniversary of the case, there have been ongoing arguments between several of the key witnesses who were involved in the case. Many of the facts regarding the case have been disputed and muddled up. These arguments have escalated in more recent years, and now they have divided parts of the research community and have even led to the withdrawal of the Left at Eastgate book, which was co-authored by Larry Warren and Peter Robbins. It appears that this is part of an ongoing perception management operation which is being run either by the US or UK intelligence agencies or the US military or some combination of these and other undisclosed agencies.